Mr. McGinley?
Oh, I'm sorry, yes.
Mr. Elfman?
Yes.
Ms. Ellis?
Yes.
Vice Chair McTeague?
Yes.
Passed, unanimous.
Okay. Moving on to number 3, case number PLN BOA 21110006. Disclosures, Mr. McGinley,
None.
Ms. Ellis,
I have none.
Mr. Elfman,
None.
Mr. McGinley,
None.
Mr. Maxey. What did, oh, I'm sorry. I had my finger on the wrong. Mr. Maxey. Got 'em all. And I have none. You have the floor.
Yeah, I think you got it. So this time I'll just go through what the variances are. This is 1417, Lot 5. And the variances that we're asking for in this circumstance are pursuant to 47.5.31, again, which is the dimensional requirements. So in this circumstance, Lot 5, the variance as to minimum lot width would be 46 instead of 50. And the size would be identical to the other one at 4738 instead of 6,000. The only additional thing that we're asking for in this circumstance is pursuant to section 4719.2S, mechanical and plumbing equipment. So pursuant to that section, mechanical and plumbing equipment such as air conditioner compressors shall not be located in the required front yard, but may be located within the required side or rear yards, and shall be no closer than 5 feet from any property line, provided that no such structure exceeds 5 feet in height, measured from the grade, 8 feet in length, limited area of 40 square feet. The air conditioner compressor for Lot 5 requires a variance as to the east side yard setback from 5 feet to 1.675 feet. That is the only other additional thing that we're asking for.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion for case PLN BOA 21110006 to approve all 3 variances as they meet the requirements set forth in the ULDR for the variance.
Second.
Were there any other questions? Okay. Nope. Okay, please call the roll.
Mr. McGinley?
Yes.
Mr. Elfman?
Yes.
Ms. Ellis?
Yes.
Mr. Maxey?
Yes.
Vice Chair McTeague?
Yes.
Unanimous.
Okay. Item number 4, case number
Thank you so much.
PLN BOA 21110002. Again, disclosures, Mr. McGinley,
None.
Ms. Ellis,
I have none.
Mr. Elfman,
None.
and Mr. Maxey.
None.
And I also have none.
Good evening. My name is Aleida Ramirez. This is my husband, Luis Ramirez, and we are requesting a variance to allow a one-story carport structure at a setback distance of 8 feet, 8 inches from the north corner yard setback, whereas the code requires a 25 feet corner yard setback. So we're requesting a total reduction of 16 feet, 4 inches. We purchased this house in 2018. And we remodeled it. We pulled permits and we remodeled it. And at the time, we did want to do a garage, but we would have lost living space. So we decided to not do a garage. We closed out this permit in 2020. And now that the house is all done, as you can see in the pictures, it would be really nice if we could have a place to store one of our vehicles. So we figured the least intrusive way to do it would be an open carport in that side yard within, like between our house and that concrete wall that we have. That's the gist.
That's it. Okay. Any questions from the board? For the applicant, anyone? Okay. I don't see any right now. Are there any members of the public that wish to speak on this item?
No.
Okay. We'll have what?
Yeah, actually,
Sorry. Oh, okay.
so I'm seeing photographs that show a structure. And so is that what the variance is for, or
We
is it-
haven't constructed the carport yet.
Yeah, this is just like a canopy type of thing.
Oh, that's our barbecue with bar. That's the
Oh.
outdoor kitchen. Yeah.
No.
that was part of our master permit when we remodeled the property.
I understand.
Chair, I did add a question.
Mr. Maxey?
Are you aware you have several neighbors that are in opposition to this carport?
No, yeah.
Yeah, and I do think that just as a tertiary glance, I mean, there is an opportunity for other places on the site. I mean,
We don't engineer. We don't engineer.
very true.
Okay, we'll have you sit, and members of the public that wish to speak, thank you.
Good evening. My name is Gregory Kuyamjan, and I'm a neighbor a block away from their house. Yes, I've been sworn. Yes, sir. Thank you. I oppose this. The code was designed to keep the neighborhood probably uniformity. Adding this structure now after the fact, when they had the chance to do this before they rebuilt or remodeled this property, knowing probably back then that they wouldn't have flown at that time for the permit to rebuild the house, they're now trying to backdoor it and put in this structure. It would be like an elephant sitting in the side of the house, as opposed to the rest of the structures around the other houses in the area. They do have a parking facility already on the side of the house, which they use inside their concrete wall, as well as the driveway. In that respect, I oppose this wholeheartedly. I know there's other neighbors that oppose it, have cited the code, why it was enacted. So on that, I would ask the board to not approve this, and thank you for your time. Any questions?
Any questions? No, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Any other members of the public wishing to speak?
Hi, my name is Ellen Avery. I've been sworn in already. I am a neighbor also at 2741 Northeast 25th Place. I would look directly at this structure. It will block my southeastern view. I too remodeled a house, and I didn't know the ordinances, and I had to stay within my limitations. I would have liked more living space and more garage space in my front yard. I'm not allowed to do that. I'm not even trying to do that. I've walked the streets every day, several times a day. I've gotten to know many neighbors. When my house went in and I was remodeled, a lot of water flow went to the house behind me. Every time there's a change, a remodel, an elevation change, waters change. We recently had 4 inches of water come down very quickly. My driveway is flooding in ways it never did when I first purchased my property in 2007. So I ask that the board denies this request for several reasons. It's not fair to the rest of us who all have to be 25 feet from the road. So I think in all fairness, in conforming to the aesthetics of our wonderful neighborhood we all love so much, and for the fact of being fair, I think it's not appropriate. Thank you.
Anybody have questions for her? Okay. Any other members of the public wishing to speak? Seeing none, I close the public hearing and bring it back to the board for discussion and a vote. Any discussion? Motion?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Ms. L.
are there any other structures of this kind in the neighborhood? I would ask that of the applicant.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Luis Ramirez. What is the question?
Are there any other structures such as the one that you're requesting in the neighborhood that you could?
There's carports, but
Somewhat different.
Yeah, I mean, he wouldn't know off the top of his
Okay.
head.
so I'm not sure.
Thank you for answering. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay.
Mr. Chair, I would like to make a motion for case number PLN BOA 2111002 to approve the variance as it meets the minimum requirements set forth in the ULDR for the variance.
Second.
Okay. Any more discussion? No? We'll call the roll.
Mr. Elfman?
No.
Ms. Ellis?
No.
Mr. Maxey?
No.
Mr. McGinley?
No.
Vice Chair McTeague?
No.
Unanimously opposed.
Item number 5, case number PLN BOA 2111004. Disclosures, Mr. McGinley.
Spoke with counsel.
Ms. Ellis.
I spoke with counsel.
Mr. Elfman.
None.
Mr. Maxey.
None.
And I spoke with counsel as well. The floor is yours.
Can you all see my screen?
No.
This screen? Yes?
See you.
No, the presentation?
It's coming, I think. He's probably working on it.
I guess I could do it without it. Oh, you do see it now?
Yes, sir.
Perfect.
Good.
Good evening, Chair, members of the board. Andrew Shine with Lockery and Chakas here representing the property owner. I will make this a brief presentation, but I did just want to put on the record this amazing facility that's coming to the city of Fort Lauderdale. This is the new Broward County Supervisor of Elections site. It's been at least a 3-year process with Broward County seeking out different sites throughout the county for this facility. And it'll be a consolidation of numerous other operations throughout the county into one building. And this is the only site that was considered in Fort Lauderdale. The others were in Pompano, Davie, and other places throughout the county. And this is the site that was chosen after that 3-year journey. The site is located at 2050 Spectrum Boulevard. You could see Commercial Boulevard there, and just to the north of that is the Fort Lauderdale Executive Airport. This is the site as it sits now. The current plan, which has been approved by the city, is to demolish part of the northwestern building and to build an L-shaped building around the existing part, which I'll show you in a second. This is the current site plan, and tonight we're asking for a variance for the fence. This property is located in the Airport Industrial Park zoning district, which allows for fences, but if you have a fence in the setback, the code says it's limited to 3 feet in height and has to be chain link. And the setback here is 40 feet, so it's set back far from the property. The area that we're asking for the variance for is only the area in blue to the north of the property. This is part of the security of the parking lot. There are essentially 2 parking lots here. One is more public for training purposes and bringing people to the facility. And the other parking lot, which is going to be fenced off, is, as you can imagine, the Supervisor of Elections is a very secure facility. So that area is where all the ballots will be brought, all the voting equipment will be stored back there. So security is the utmost importance for this particular area. And unfortunately, a 3-foot fence doesn't really provide much security there. This is the fence details. It's not a chain link fence. It's a little bit nicer. But we're going with a similar type of idea of having transparency through it, but while still providing security. So we're proposing a metal decorative picket fence around that area. And I know when fence variances come in front of this board, landscaping is always a question. So let me see if I can zoom in here. There we go. The landscaping itself will not be affected by this variance since we're only asking for a height differential here. You could see this from the fence to the property line, we have 22 feet of landscaping and trees, and then 39 feet from the fence to the actual edge of pavement is all going to be landscaping and trees. So no lack of landscaping here, just asking for the additional height from 3 feet to 6 feet on the fence and to allow it to not be chain link. Thank you.
Any questions for the applicant? Mr.
If you want to make it higher, I would support that, but.
Any questions? Okay. Are there any members of the public that wish to speak on this item? Okay. Seeing none, I bring it back to the board for discussion and a vote.
I actually have a question in regards to how this variance would relate to the future permit request that they would make as part of the renovation they have planned. Like, in other words, if they were to do a major renovation, I'd like them to have to reinvestigate this to try to bring it into code. And I'd imagine that there'd be all kinds of recalculating of parking and things like that. So I don't think that's a question for him. I think it's a question for the city.
Okay.
So this variance, when they come back eventually for this major renovation, I guess, will they have to readdress this variance, or does it kind of,
No,
Should stand alone.
it would stand
it's
alone?
standalone, it goes with the property.
Any other questions? There's nobody? Okay, we brought it back to the board, so discussion and a vote. Motion?
Oh, I would like to make a motion to approve agenda item number 5. That's PLN BOA 21110004, as it meets the requirements of the UDLR.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Elfman?
Yes.
Ms. Ellis?
Yes.
Mr. Maxey?
Yes.
Mr. McGinley?
Yes.
And Vice Chair McTeague?
Yes.
It's unanimous.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do we have any communication to the city commission? Anything? All right.
Sheriff,
Yes?
if I may,
Please.
when I first joined as counsel for the board, there was a recent change in the state legislation that required the denial of development permits to be accompanied with written finding of facts. And at that time, I came to the board and I advised that meant that the board needed to make an affirmative action in either approval or denial.
Right.
With that, what seems to have developed out of that is a misunderstanding of my counsel, and that all motions are made in affirmative towards approval, and then the board voting it down, which I was actually saying you can make an affirmative motion towards denial and deny a project. So I just want to clarify for the record, I think what confused it at the time is that I was also opining that the failure of a motion for approval was insufficient and you would have to go back and make an affirmative motion for denial. That is no longer my opinion on that. So if the motion dies on an approval motion, that is a denial of the application, but the inverse requires a vote. If a motion for denial affirms if a motion for denial fails, then you go back for a motion of approval because that's not an affirmative approval.
That makes sense.
I think the way that you're doing it kind of cuts out a step in
That's exactly
case
it.
the motion for denial doesn't work, but I just wanted to make sure that the record is clear that you can do a denial motion if you feel that's
Number 4 was handled properly tonight, the way we did it, where it was affirmative and it was denied. But had we done one for a denial and it didn't pass, then we have to go back and do one in the affirmative.
That's correct.
Yeah, you cannot agree with a denial, but that doesn't mean that you've approved it.
And
Thank you
Correct.
for the
I think that
clarification.
the board made a decision before when we went through this, because we do understand that, if we do the approval from the get out,
You're just
it
cutting
kinda
to the
solves,
chase. I understand.
gets to the same result. But I understand for the people in the audience, they may have misconstrued what was happening until the final no's came in, so.
I just wanted to make sure
Clarification.
we're clear
Appreciate
on
you
that.
putting that on the record. I just want to call out, we saw in our backup that the ordinance here was put in place, C-2132, for the item that we had put forth that we wanted to have clarification on the elevations of fences and all that. So congratulations to city staff, the commission, everybody. Good team effort to hopefully put some clarity on something that was very murky. Is there anything else for the good of the city?
Yes.
Make a
Happy
motion to
holidays.
adjourn.
The BOA calendar for the next year, dates and deadlines.
Yes, they're in here as well.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Well, I did have one question to staff. Are we ever going to the digital stuff, or is it, because somebody, I think Shaquille had mentioned that.
She's not in today.
I know, so, but
What is your question?
whether or not we were going to the digital packages, that was a question that Shaquille had sent out a while back, so.
Yeah, I mean, at this time, we are still requiring 14 copy sets. I mean, we are working towards that. If somebody wants a digital copy, we shouldn't have any problem in sending it.
No, it's either all or the other, all one way or the other way. I don't want to create extra work. I just,
Because there are some board members who prefer, physical copies. That's why.
Okay, yep, that's fine, yep. So
That's the reason.
I just wondered where that question never got answered, I guess, and I just
Couple
wanted
more
to
years.
follow up on it.
Give it a couple more years.
Yes. Till we retire.
Okay, with
Motion to adjourn?
motion to adjourn. Favor? Aye.
Aye.
Good evening. Happy holidays.
Thank you.
Where's the closest napkin?